Good morning, students. So today we are going to start chapter 2, that is understanding Windows 10. In this chapter, we are going to discuss some of the features of Windows 10, and then we are going to understand about what is software, and even we are going to learn about the different types of software. So let's start the chapter with an introduction of software. Software, we can say that it is a set of instructions or a program that tells the computer that how they are going to do the work and what they have to do. Now, if you may remember, in previous uh, class or in standard 4, I have explained you that what is the software. Software is instructions written for the computer. Now, software is an instruction written for the computer to do some specific work. Now that instruction is written by using some of the programming languages like C, C++, Java, your logo, Scratch. These all are programming languages which are used for writing the instructions and for creating a software. And without a software, we cannot work on a computer. And we know that why? Because our computer does not understand our language and it only understands binary digit. And when we say binary digit, that means 0 and 1, where 0 stands for off state and 1 stands for on state. That means the computer only understands off and on signal. So except that off and on, computer does not understand anything. So whatever the instruction we are giving to the computer, that must be converted into the form of computer language. Otherwise, computer will not understand anything. For example, suppose if I start teaching you in Chinese language, none of you will understand that what I am speaking. Why? Because you don't know the Chinese language. So for knowing the Chinese language, you need to know, so sorry, for understanding what I'm speaking in Chinese, you need to know the Chinese language. Otherwise, you need a person who can convert what I'm speaking in Chinese into your language so that you can understand what I'm speaking. Otherwise, there is no other method. And the person who is converting my language into your language, and then again your language into my language, so that the communication can be established between me and you if my language is different, then that person who's converting the languages is known as the operating system in terms of computer. Now that is the work of an operating system, to take the input from the user and send it to the hardware, and then again take the output from the hardware and send it to the user. And some more functions are there, we will discuss it. So let's start the chapter as we have already started. So let's see the layers between user and the hardware. Now on computer, every time a user is working, then only the computer will work. Otherwise, without user, computer cannot work, right? So because computer needs the instruction that what it has to do, and unless you don't provide the instruction, how the computer will do any work? So user is at the top level. That means user are always kept at the top, and user gives the instruction to the application software, not directly in most of the cases, not directly to the operating system, but to the applications. For example, when you type any letter on MS Word, you then you are using an application software there. MS Word is the application software there. Without MS Word application, you cannot type a letter on your Windows 10 operating system unless you do not have a word processor application software. In this, one more example, I am creating a presentation here, and that presentation is being created on MS PowerPoint, and PowerPoint is an application. Now I'm not creating this PowerPoint on Windows 10. This is being created on MS PowerPoint. Even if you are playing a video, you do not play it directly on the operating system. You require an application which can play that video, or which can support that format what you are using for that video and audio. For example, in our smartphone, we use MX Player for playing any of the video or audio, and we have MP3 players in our smartphone for playing the musics. So all these are application software. Now, application softwares are kept in the middle of the user and the operating system. Now, whatever work we have done on the application software, that is further transferred to the operating system by the application software. Now, user has given the input to the application software. Application software collects those input and then sends it to the operating system. Now, operating system converts that input into the form of binary digits, that means in the form of 0 and 1, and then it allocates the processor and memory to that application and then sends it to the hardware. But that means to the processor for that input to be processed. Once the input is processed by the hardware, hardware returns back the output, and then that output is sent back to the operating system. Now, from here, it's the work of the operating system to decide that from where it has taken the input and where it has to display the output. For example, if I open a calculator, as you can see, a calculator has opened on the screen, and on that, I'm going to add 91 plus 100. Now, suppose if I add these two numbers, then the output of these two numbers, the sum of these two numbers will be displayed on the calculator only, not on the PowerPoint window. Why? Because operating system understands that from where it has taken the input. In the case of this calculator, the input was 91 plus and then 100. This was the input which I have given through the calculator, and then when I will press on the equal to button, that input what has been given to the calculator, that will be processed by the hardware processor of your computer. After processing, when it will return back the result, it will return it back to the operating system, and then from operating system it will decide that where that output has to be displayed, and in this case that output has to be displayed on the calculator. So let's see, press the equal to, and you can see the result will appear, has appeared on the calculator only. So operating system also manages the input and output operations. It doesn't let the input and output operations go to the wrong places. This is the total work of an operating system. So now you may have understood that how important an operating system is for our computer or our device. For example, in your smartphone, you are using Android operating system, and in computers in lab, you may have seen that some computers were having Windows 10 and some were having Windows 7. And in smart class, when you go, you may have seen there that it is using the Ubuntu operating system. So there are multiple operating systems available. We'll see some of the examples of commonly used operating systems. Now in this fourth slide, the same thing has been discussed in details. That means user is the person who works on the computer. So we are the user who is working on the computer. Now sometimes user gives the input to the application software directly. For example, when I'm creating a presentation, I'm giving the input to the application software. But when I'm moving the mouse, when I'm moving the mouse on the desk, the mouse pointer also rotates along with the mouse, right? Wherever I'm moving the mouse on my desk, the mouse pointer also moves along with that. Now in this case, I'm directly giving the input to the operating system, because mouse is a hardware which is connected to your CPU. That means with your computer, and operating system is installed on that computer only, CPU. Now CPU receives that signal given from the mouse and then sends it back directly to the operating system. So here for moving the mouse pointer, we are directly giving the input to the operating system. That's why two arrows here you can see has been drawn. One where when we are working on application software, another when we are giving the input directly to the operating system. So both the type of works are being done. Now, whatever the input has been given to the application software, that is sent to the operating system. After the operating system, that signal is being sent to the hardware. Sometimes that sometimes it happens that when we are not using the proper application software. For example, you may have heard the word computer drivers. Now, these are some of the utility software which are used by the computer. Now, those utility softwares are not just like an application software. They are different. They are for the computer hardwares. For example, when you insert a keyboard or mouse in your computer, a hardware driver is being installed at that moment, so that your hardware, whatever you are connecting to your computer, works properly. So those utility softwares are known as system software only, because those softwares are being used by the system. So we have understood that human or user is at the top level, then comes the application software, and then comes the operating system, and then comes the hardware. So these are the mediocre, these are the middle things which are converting our language into the machine language. Now let's move further and see the different types of software. Now software has been classified into two categories: system software and application software. Now system software, as I have explained right now, that system softwares are those type of software which are used by the computer, not by the user. That means we are not using that thing directly. That is being used by the computer. For example, antivirus. Now, when we use the antivirus, when we run the antivirus removes the unwanted program from your computer for making your computer faster and making your files safe on your computer. That's why we use antivirus. Now, that is not directly used by us. That is for the file saved on the computer, so that it doesn't get corrupted or it doesn't get stolen from our computer. That's why we use antivirus. That's why antivirus is called a utility software, because we are not directly using it for our requirement. So those are the utility softwares. Now utility software are something like application software only, but those softwares are not used by the user, those are used by the computer. And operating system, I've already explained that operating system is the main software of your computer, without which you cannot install any application software on your computer. You cannot install any utility software on your computer. So without operating system, your computer is useless. So main software of your computer is the operating system. Even if your computer is not having application software, your computer will be able to switch on and switch off. That means your computer will start some of the things you can do, because some of the features are already given with the help inside the operating system only. But for using more of the features, we need the application software. So when, for example, calculator. Now that calculator is an application software, but that is inbuilt inside your operating system. That means the moment the operating system will be installed on your computer, with that operating system, the calculator will also be installed. So without an operating system, you cannot do anything on your computer. Now, I think you may have understood the difference between the system software and application software. Application softwares are those softwares on which the user works. That means on which we do our work. For example, this Microsoft PowerPoint is an application software. MS Paint, that is an application software. Tux Paint, that is an application software. MS Word, that is an application software. Zoom, through which we are conducting the meeting or online classes, that is an application software. So application softwares are those softwares on which the user is working directly. Now application software has been divided into two categories. First one is the general purpose application software, and second one is the special purpose application software. Now general purpose application softwares are those types of software which are being used generally by everyone or mostly every time. For example, on computer, if you are typing a letter, you will require MS Word. For doing calculations, you require calculator. For doing paints, you require MS Paint or Tux Paint. So these are general purpose application software, which is being generally used by everyone. But suppose if you want to do a railway reservation, you want to book a ticket for the railway or train. In that case, you need to use the application created by IRCTC, that is Indian Railway Government application you have to use. And on that application only you can book the rail tickets, right? You cannot book that with using the MS Word or MS PowerPoint. So that is a special kind of software created for booking the railway tickets. Another example, banking applications. For example, suppose if I'm having an account in Punjab National Bank, so I will use the application of Punjab National Bank only. I cannot use the application of SBI Bank to do my transactions, bank transaction. Whenever I will use Punjab National Bank's application only because my account is in that bank. And that's why these are called special purpose software, special purpose application software, because these softwares are created for a special purpose. Now, everyone does not have an account in PNB. Some are having in SBI, some are having in Bank of Baroda, some are having in Oriental Bank of Commerce, some may have in Central Bank of India. So there are different banks and people may have bank accounts in different banks, right? So all those peoples will use their bank's application only. They cannot use a general application. For example, in general application, you can say Google Pay, that is the general application. Paytm, that is a general purpose application, because on that all the bank can be all bank person can use their account on those type of softwares. But if you're using the bank's application, then you'll have to use the particular application created by that bank only. So that is the difference between general purpose and special purpose software. Now, I think the difference between system software and application software, that is clear, and operating system and utility software is also clear. Now, let me discuss operating system and utility software one more time. Now, operating systems are the main softwares without which your computer cannot work. And utility softwares are those type of softwares which is used by the system, not by the user. For example, if you're using antivirus, then that antivirus is used for making your computer faster, but you are not directly working on that. For example, you are not typing anything on antivirus, you are not saving any file using the antivirus. You just click on the scan button and the antivirus starts, and it removes all the unwanted program from your computer and makes your computer faster. So you directly you are not using that antivirus for your purpose or your requirement. Another type of utility software, you can say a compressor software, which is used for decreasing the size of a file, compressing the size of a file, and saving the space on your computer. So that is also not directly used by you, that is used for the computer to make to free up more spaces on your computer. So you are not working on that. So those type of softwares are kept in the utility software, and operating systems are the softwares, main softwares on which all the other softwares work. Now let's see some of the different most used operating systems. Before that, small definition of system software. System software is a type of computer program that is designed to run a computer's hardware and application programs. If we think of the computer system as a layered model, the system software is the interface between the hardware and the user. As I said here in this one, now operating system is the interface between the user, because user is working on the application software, and then application software is sending that signal or input to the operating system, right? So that's why we call the system software or the application software as, now application software will be known as the interface between the user and the operating system. And operating system can be called as a interface between the user and the hardware, and even between the application software and the hardware, because it is in between both of them, even between the user and hardware, and even between the application software and hardware. Even if you are taking the application software, user is the only person who's giving the input to the application software. So indirectly also, operating system is the interface between the user and the hardware. So that is why the system softwares are used. System softwares are the interface between the user and the hardware. And without the system software, you cannot perform any task on your computer. Now, some of the most used operating systems in the world are Windows 10. Not Windows 10, it is only Windows, because in Windows there are multiple operating systems. For example, there is Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 8.1, Windows 95, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 2000, Windows NT. So there are plenty of Windows operating systems. These all were mostly used operating systems. So Windows is the most used operating system in the world. Then Android is also one of the most used operating system, because all the smartphones, except the Apple smartphone, all the smartphones in the world are using the Android operating system. So Android is also a most used operating system, one of the most used operating system. And then comes Apple iOS. Now, Apple iOS is the operating system created by Apple company, and this is an operating system which is also one of the most used operating system, because many of the people are using the Apple smartphones, Apple laptop. On all the Apple devices, whatever the device which is being created by the Apple, all have their own operating system. That means the operating system created by Apple. That on an Apple device, you cannot install Windows operating system. So all the Apple devices has their own operating system, that is Apple iOS. So there, these are the few most used operating system. After this, many are there. Linux, Ubuntu are also there. Linux, Ubuntu, many other operating systems are also there, which is used, but not as much as these three operating systems are being used. Now let's see some of the functions of the operating system. Now, the first function of an operating system is memory management. Now, by saying memory management, that means we know that whenever we are opening any application on our computer, that application is first loaded in the RAM memory. Whatever the application we open on our computer, that application is first loaded in the RAM memory from our hard disk. Now, suppose if PowerPoint is of 1.5 GB and your computer is having total of 2 GB RAM, then 1.5 GB will be taken by the PowerPoint. And suppose another application you have opened that also requires 1 GB of RAM, then in that case, there will be a shortage of RAM storage, because you are having only 2 GB, but the RAM memory required by the applications opened, that is 2.5 GB, right? So in that case, there will be an error or deadlock situation in your computer. The application will not be able to open. So that's why we require a memory management which can manage the memory, that how the applications are getting the memory and how much they are getting the memory. For example, right now I'm working on MS PowerPoint, right? Now when I'm going to open some another application, suppose if I open calculator again, now either I will work on the calculator or either I will work on the PowerPoint. But I can work on only one application at a time. I can open multiple applications, but for working, I can work only on one application, right? At a one time. Either I can do calculation or either I can type something in. I cannot do typing and calculation both together. Now, right now, if the calculator is open, then that means the PowerPoint is in the background. And whenever the application goes in the background, it is the operating system's duty that whatever the memory which is not being used by the application which is in the background, to take the memory from them and provide it to the new application which has been opened. And that is what memory management called. And the operating system does that work. Managing the memory of a computer is done by the operating system. Otherwise, the computer will not be able to perform multitasking. Another function of operating system is processor management. Now we know that all the input which we give to the computer, that is sent to the processor to process that input and then give the output. For example, if we are doing calculations, then and that input will be received by the operating system, and then it will transfer that operating system to the hardware. And in hardware, that is the processor which does that processing work. That means the processor will add those numbers and then it will give the output back. And when it will return the output back, that output will be received by the operating system and then it will be returned back to the application software. So this work, the management of the processor, that which input has to be sent to the operating system and from where it has to take the input and where it has to be displayed, that work, these types of works are being done by the operating system. Now, third point is control the input and output devices. Now, input, as I have already explained, that all the input or output devices like monitor, keyboard, mouse, printer, scanner, these all are an input output devices. And when we are talking about the computer, CPU is that computer, which through which all the other input and output devices are connected. Now, it is the operating system's duty to control all those devices. For example, when we are inserting a keyboard in our CPU, that keyboard will be controlled by the operating system, because whatever the input we are giving, that will be received by the whatever the input we are giving through the keyboard, that will be received by the operating system only. So it is operating system's duty that to control the input and output devices and to manage all the input and output operations, that from where the input has been taken and where the output has to be displayed. So these are the main functions of operating system. Now let's see some of the utility softwares. The example some of the utility software. Now first one is the antivirus. Now antivirus is a type of utility software used for scanning and removing viruses from your computer. As I said, antivirus removes the unwanted program or files from your computer to make your files safe, secured, and to make your computer faster. Next one is the compressor software. Now compressor software is software program that can compress and decompress various file types to save space on your computer, which means compressor software decreases it can increase the file size. For example, once you have decreased that file, then again when you are going to use that file, you need to decompress it, right? That means you again need to bring it back in the original form. Otherwise, how will you open that file? So the compressor software's work is to compress the file and make it smaller so that you can save some space on your computer. And again, you to decompress that file and to give you the file which you want to open. For example, suppose if I have saved this file and this file is taking, this presentation is taking suppose a 10 MB of a space. So I can use the compressor, and when I will use the compressor, it will compress the file and it will make it of 2 or 3 MB. So you can see there will be a gap of 7 to 8 MBs, right? Because right now it is of 10 MB, and when I will compress it, then it will become of 2 or 2.5 MB or 3 MB. So lots of space will be saved, and this is the work of compressor. Now once the file is compressed, after compressing the file, I again need to decompress that file. That means again make it of the original size, otherwise I won't be able to open that file in the PowerPoint, because compressed file have another file extension, another file type. Compressed files are of different file types, and this PowerPoint presentation is a different file type. So for opening a presentation, I need that presentation to be in the same format in which I have created. So after compressing, I need that file to be decompressed, and that work is also of a compressor, to compress the file and to decompress the file. Now third type of utility software is backup software. Now suppose you are clicking pictures in your smartphone, and by any issue your smartphone stops working or your operating system crashes, then you need to format your computer. That means you need to erase the operating system and then reinstall the operating system on your computer. Now in that case, all the data saved on your hard disk will be erased. Now suppose your hard disk only crashes, your operating system is okay, but your hard disk only crashes. Now that hard disk is only containing your operating system also. So once your hard disk is or broken, your computer will stop working. In that case, you will require a new hard disk. Suppose you bought a new hard disk from the market and you install that hard disk in your computer. And after installing that hard disk, all the data which was earlier in your old hard disk, that will not come in the new hard disk. Then in that case, your data will be lost. Now suppose if you don't want your data to be lost, then you can create a backup of your file saved on your computer on an external storage device, for example on a pen drive or an external hard disk, and you can save it and you can keep it elsewhere. Now suppose your earlier hard disk was broken, you have bought a new one and you have installed that hard disk on your computer, and after installing that hard disk, all the data which was earlier saved on your computer, that data will be erased. Now you can restore your data back on your new hard disk from the backup which you have created on an external storage device. So that is the work of a backup software. It creates a copy of your file on an external storage device, so that even in the case of your hard disk failure, you can restore your data back on your new hard disk. Now let's see some of the application software. Now application softwares are a program or a group of program designed for the end users. Now end users are the person who is working on the computer. User is only the end user mentioned here, because we are at the top of it, and after that there is nothing. So that's why that layer is called the end layer, and the user is working on that end layer. That's why it is called end user. So application softwares are created for the users, so that user can work on that. Examples of operating systems you can examples of applications software, you can see here some of the examples: MS Word, MS Excel, MS PowerPoint, MS Publisher, MS Infopath, MS Outlook, MS OneNote, MS Access, OneDrive. So these all are some of the examples of application software on which the user is working. So we are working on an application software, that is the PowerPoint right now. And one more application software is there on which we are working, that is the Zoom application for doing the online classes and meetings. So I hope you have understood the difference between the software, Windows operating systems, and application softwares. So in next class, we will see some of the features of Windows 10 operating system. Till then, revise till here, study and stay healthy. Bye.